turns out. So I was a little nervous to come today and do this, so I asked somebody for advice, and they said, just do the whole naked trick. Picture everyone naked. I said, thank God that our team is so good looking, because I think that could go really awry otherwise. So I am, like CG said, I'm 36. I actually just graduated from the STAR group to the Restart group. I am the mother of 3 boys, 7, 6, and 3. And I'm a full-time 5th grade teacher. I've been teaching for 13 years. So I'm from Mount Laurel, which is by Philadelphia, but I grew up in Toms River, and that's by the shore. And when Sandy hit in October of 2012, I took it kind of hard. I wasn't living there anymore, but my sister, my mom, everybody was still there, and they all lived on the water and lost their homes, their cars. My sister was displaced for a few months. And everywhere that I had been growing up, all my memories growing up were gone. So it was a difficult time for me. I wanted to do something more, but I felt like I couldn't, especially living so far. I had a friend of mine in aviation who set me up with some charities across the country who were willing to fly in supplies to bring to local firehouses. So I started doing that, and I met up with some really interesting non-for-profits that I started following on social media. I wanted to do more with them, but financially I just couldn't. I did some fundraising at school with my students, but that's all I could afford to do. About a month and a half after Sandy, my middle son Kyle was diagnosed with autism, and that was a very difficult time for me. I spent a couple weeks in bed crying. The life I had envisioned for him was suddenly different, we'll say. So for the next couple weeks, I would spend my nights up and researching therapies and providers in the area. I was very overwhelmed and not getting a lot of sleep, and I ended up, just kind of ignoring myself. When I finally started to get a hold on that, I found out I was pregnant about 2 months later, and got nervous, but then got excited, and I thought, okay, this could be my chance for a girl. And in March, I miscarried. And it was pretty difficult. I can't even explain. I never realized how difficult something like that is. I ended up in the hospital in intensive care with some complications. And when I was released, I went back home and cried in bed for a few more weeks. And I spent the next year kind of sad a lot. I still tended to my children, but I was just not happy. It had been a year after the miscarriage, and I realized that I had I didn't lose any of the weight from the baby, but I even put some more on because I was, feeding my feelings. So I finally decided that I needed to do something. So I had been watching my friend Janine's posts for months. I never liked them, I never commented. I had been watching, and finally when I was ready, I reached out to her and started. So I started in the end of February, and I lost 12 pounds my first month, 14 pounds my second month. Everyone says, why are you so happy in that first picture? I'm not exactly sure. Because I really wasn't. I was faking it. I was very sad for a long time. And I started to feel amazing. I was hooked on the products immediately, and I knew that it was something I was going to keep up with. I had no intention of doing the business, ever. My friend, she asked me, I said, no, I'm good, I just want to lose weight. But then people started asking me about it. I started enrolling a few people, but money was not really a motivator for me. We were pretty set. I wasn't looking to make more money. I had a good job, my husband had a good job. But then, as it started happening, I kind of went with it, and I started going to meetings, and they said, you need to go to Celebration, so I went to Celebration. And in Celebration, Peta Kelly said something that really kind of hit home with me. She said, in order to bless others, you have to bless yourself first. And all that kind of, I thought about that, and all the things that I wanted to do, the fundraising and the not-for-profits, and, things with Autism Speaks, and that I wanted to do, but I couldn't do it because financially I couldn't, this would give me that opportunity. So I started the business seriously in June, and in August I had my first 4-figure month, and I am really excited to continue, and I really thank all the ladies over there left in the house, Dad, Dawn, Joe, everybody has been so kind and helpful, and I just encourage everybody, while I was on the products, I had another couple bad things happen. My dad was diagnosed with leukemia, my grandmother passed away, and those could have easily been reasons for me to stop. So just what I've been telling myself and what I understand now is your story. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a life. Bad things happen to them. But turn those around and don't let them be your excuse. Let them be your reason why you continue. And that's what I've done now. My boys are my reason why I continue. So thank you so much for letting me share.